Once again, I'm saying good afternoon, and I'm very, very happy to be with you. Once again, this is my sixth program that I am carrying out under the name that is Bank Audit Training Series. And most of the youngsters, most of the freshers, they are with me, and everyone has enjoyed. And even I have received a lot of questions from them also. And I'm very, very happy to be with you. And I'm going to start the program planning of audit that we have to do.
हाँ ते ताका तक देख लो
And this thing we have to be very, very uh, careful, because this year we are going to face a lot of problems from long form audit report. Kindly mute everyone. I have muted Monica to the maximum extent. It's up to the members, up to the friends. They have to take care. Recording available in last 5 grams. I have recorded 4 things. One video I already released in YouTube, and still I have to release another 3 videos. I have not recorded that cash video, cash verification video. 4 videos. I think tomorrow you will be getting it. And one I have already released about the Jollo verification. If you want to go and verify the YouTube, the channel name is Ravindran V, and you can go and view my YouTube there. Now I am going to start with planning. Okay. What is planning in bank audit? So before you are going to the audit, what are the things that you have to take care? First thing, the planning starts. What are the basic things that we have to carry while we are doing the audit? So from there, I want to start the presentation. This is the things that you have to take before you leave your office. Take the original copy and copy of the branch audit appointment letter, because whenever you are going for audit, you have to carry the original. You have to carry the original audit appointment. Sometimes it may be coming under when you are a soft copy also you will have. Even though you have got soft copy, you have to take printout and you have to produce this copy to the branch manager. Sometimes you may be sending your audit staff. If that is the case, you have to give Sir Ashok, I think it's a channel name is I'll type it here. Ravindran V. Ravindran V is the YouTube channel. Okay. Open code. Everyone. This is the sorry. This is the channel name and not Ravindran at 1959. Ravindran V is the channel name. You go and type in YouTube, you will get the video. And whenever you are going to the audit, you have to take Xerox copy and original copy of the bank branch audit appointment letter. Mostly we thought that the manager is having the copy. Why we carry? And that too, I have to add one thing. So when I went for one of the national branch audit, and when I produced the appointment letter, the manager has immediately asked me, you have to prove that you are Ravindran. Now what to do? You have to prove that you are Ravindran. At that time, we are not having our ID card. There is identity card we are not having. So when I said, sir, this is appointment letter given by your head office, he said, no, you would have even taken picked this from the roadside also. So in this manner, they have treated me. He has treated me, and I have repeatedly asked him for more than 10 times, and he refused to allow me to do the audit. And nowadays, our institute has issued the appointment letter, ID card. you have to carry the ID card also along with the audit appointment. This is the thing also you should not forget. You have to take the printout of appointment letter plus your ID card. And you have to type the introductory letter saying that, sir, I want to commence the audit from such and such date as per the appointment given by your head office. This is one. And second thing, if you are sending your staff, you have to authorize your staff to represent you, to represent the audit on behalf of you. For that also, you have to issue an authorization letter to your staff, and their signature should be attested by, their signature should be accepted by you. So specimen signature you have to attest, and if you are going along with the staff, no problem. If you are sending your staff, so you have to give a special authorization letter to your staff, and you have to prepare the audit program in advance. I will discuss that audit program on a later part of the presentation. Now I am going with the other thing. And before going to that, you have to take all circulars copy that you need in support of audit. What is the circular? Now Reserve Bank of India has issued some 7 circulars, 7 recent circulars which are applicable for this year audit. 7 circulars they have issued for this year audit. Then you have to take copy of it. I will send the copy to you. I will send the all circulars to you. I will send the all applicable circulars issued by RBI to you. Tomorrow I will send the there is all circulars to your mail ID on your request. For that I will send you a special Google form, and you send it, and in all your mail ID, for your all mail ID, I will send it. This is very, very important, because this year we are going to have lot of headache because of NPA classification, and that too we have to face lot of problems in LFAR also, because a lot of things they have included. So you have to be very, very careful, and it's a very tough time for us for this year audit. And allot the audit of verification to your staff. So you want to allocate the audit work to your staff. What are the areas the staff they have to conduct? What are the areas? What are the areas that are to be allotted to your staff, and what are the areas that you have to do it? Everything that you have to include in the audit plan, and you have to also ask your staff to attend all refresher course as well as the audit seminar. That's why I plan to share my experience through this program to the maximum extent. And even if you attend programs like this, if the program conducted by the branch, if the program conducted by the regional office and everything, that's okay. Amar, I will not send all circulars. I will send only the RBI circulars relevant to this year of audit. I am not going to send all the circulars. It may be like this you will get. No, you can, I will share only those circulars which are relevant for this year audit. And congratulations, Amar, you have got the audit this year. You have informed me. And next thing what you have to do. So don't forget to take this, because you are going to the branch and you should have all sufficient stationaries on your hand. You should not go and ask, manager, sir, can you produce this? Can you produce this? White sheets for working purpose. Working sheets, you have to take white sheets. But normally a few auditors, they will go to the branch, they say that, sir, give me 2 bundles of A4 sheet. Don't ask like that. Whatever is that you have to take from your office. Then you have to take calculator for each staff, because whenever you are going to the branch is having only one calculator. Normally they say that, sir, we are using everything in the computer, so we are not having a calculator. But you have to carry, or you have to give calculator for each of your staff, including you. And you have to carry tag, eraser, scale, pencil, stapler, stamp pad, gum, file bag, water bottle. Carrying water bottle is also very, very important. Whenever you are going for the rural branch, it is very, very difficult for you to get the water bottle. That will spoil your health. So if you plan to take the water bottle, you will be safe, and your health will be very, very safe. Next one is food items. Why food items? You can laugh. You can laugh. Why food items? You will get at the branch. Nearby places we will get. Okay, if we are going to the metro centers or corporation centers or some municipal based branches, it will not be a problem. And if you are a vegetarian, you will definitely find a problem, because in most of the hotels, it's only non-vegetarian is available. So this is one thing. And if you are going, particularly if you are going to the rural branches, you must carry food items, because that will definitely save your health. So few people, even they laughed at me when I said this, but when they said that, sir, on your advice, we have taken food item, but we are now safe. And also you have to take rubber stamp, that is seal. You are seal, full address, initial address, membership number seal, as well as your digital signature also you have to take. I have not typed it here. You have to take the digital signature also, because when now it is a e-filing is that you have to attest everything digitally. So you must carry the digital signature. And the very important thing you have to think is, you have to see whether that digital signature validity period. If it is for if still 1 year is over or more, okay. But if only 10 days left, you have to update the digital signature, because when you want to complete the audit, this will be the practical problem. So you have to plan that work also. And you have to carry your cell phone and say your cell phone charger. Don't go and ask the manager, sir, can you provide this cell phone charger? The managers, they will not have. So the thing is, you have to carry the cell phone as well as the cell phone chargers. Next is towel, because whenever you are going, because I am talking everything from the rural angles, because whenever you are going for rural audit, rural branch audit, you will not be having AC. It will be in the open environment. So you have to carry towels, because you will get a lot of sweats. And the thing to be included now is the mask also you have to include, because of COVID. You have to take the mask also, as well as, if possible, take the gloves also. You have to have the gloves and mask, because it will definitely protect you from the COVID situation. So take mask, take even you buy a bunch of mask, so that you even this you have to provide to your staff. Don't ask the staff to bring his own mask. You have to supply, because you have to give the mask to your staff also, because we have to save the life of our staff also. Then another item is, you have to take the route map, sir. First thing, how to reach the branch. So that route schedule also you have to ask. And what is the transport facility? What is the transport facility? Whether you have to go by train, by flight, or by car and everything. And if you are going by car from your office, and as per the appointment letter, in that letter they mentioned that if you want to prefer to go by car, you have to get the regional office permission. Otherwise, if you claim car expenditure bill, it will not be reimbursed. So this thing also you have to remember. So these are all the things you have to take in advance. And next one is, take the reserve ticket. Suppose if you are going by train, you have to take the reserve ticket also. Next one is, get the branch contact number. It's get the branch contact number, and particularly landline and mobile number. It's better to have training series in February from next year. Definitely, sir. Definitely, Ashok sir. I've already decided. It's the last. I have decided to give this type of series only in the month of March, and that Amar knows this. Amar knows this program, and we will definitely do it, Ashok sir. And get the boarding and lodging. Take the branch contact number. Otherwise, you are going in outside of your branch, outside of your office. So you should have sufficient cash. Sometimes when you go to the lodge, when you want to stay, they say that, sir, we will not accept any credit card, debit card. We want only cash. So at that time, you should have sufficient cash on your hand. As well as, sometimes your staff, they want to go to some entertainment, and they want to go to some movie, and everything you have to give the cash. So you should have sufficient cash, and you have to carry your credit card as well as debit card. Because if you have got credit card, okay, because you have to withdraw the money and you have to spend. Then get the boarding and lodging facilities. Where to stay, where is the food available, everything you can make the inquiry with the branch manager also. And the main thing is you have to carry the medical kit, because you may be a diabetician, you may say you will not get medicines inside, and sometimes you might have some stomach upset and you have some headache and cough, and for all general diseases, general thing, you have to carry the medicine. Say, I can say that for stomach ache, you have cyclopam, if in case some loose motion is going on, have Andiol. So all type of tablet, particularly you have to ask your doctor what are the general medicines that I have to carry. And sometimes if they are vomiting, if your staff is vomiting, you can give the medicine to them. If it is the middle of night, say around 2:30, 3, if they are having the problem, then you have to give the medicine. So you have to carry the medical kit, and don't say I want to inform. Some nowadays it is previously they instructed don't inform the manager that you are coming to the audit, but nowadays they are informing in advance that we are coming to the branch on that particular day. One. Second thing, is they want to see that the audit certificates have been ready. So for this, you have to contact the branch manager. You can ask the manager saying that, sir, or the balance sheet is ready, or profit and loss account is ready, or schedules are ready. Then only it's possible for you to go and meet the persons to do the audit. So the thing is, you have to get that information also in advance. Next thing, this is a very, very important for every chartered accountant, every staff also, because as per the latest information, the manager, he has to give a confidential report about our behavior to their head office. That is a confidential report. It is also available. So we have to behave. This will take just 2 minutes. I'll complete, and I'll go to the main session later. You have to keep quite calm, and there is no emotion, because he is not your boss and you are not his boss. And whatever he say, you have to smile quietly and don't respond to his any of his unnecessary problems, and ignore your ego. Suppose if you want to take the chair from that place to this place, you can go and take the chair, no problem. And if at all you want to have some doubt, even you can ask the sub-staff, sir, can you come and explain? He will come and definitely explain. And you have to maintain the professional image, because we are all chartered accountants, and you have to go with full details, because that's why I said you have to carry the circulars also, and you should know all the rules and regulations of the audit. Then you have to talk politely, and you have to maintain and whenever you are going for audit, you have to properly communicate. You should have communication skills. Suppose if you want to ask anything, you have to ask politely, and it has to be communicated in the sense in which you think. So you should have communication skill and avoid excuses. Why avoid excuses? What is the problem? I'll tell an issue that in one of the branches where one auditor has gone, he has started to verify all title deals, all loan documents, and everything is being kept on the table. But suddenly, that sub-staff, he has brought coffee, and by mistake, it has fallen down on the title deeds. So all title deeds, documents, everything is being vetted by the coffee. So then there is no, the auditor has to say sorry. So problem is, later on, they had some other problem. But thing is, you should avoid excuses. That means there should not be any mistake from your side, and you have to talk less. Don't talk continuously. Don't explain about your behavior, explain about your achievement, about your background, everything. Don't talk. You have to talk less. And if you have got any doubt, if you are not confident, you can consult your seniors. You may be a young person, or even senior persons also, they can consult their friends. If the partners are there, they can consult the friends also. This also you have to do it. And you have to talk confidently. Suppose if you point out that, sir, this case is a fraudulent case, then if that is the case, then you have to talk confidently with all evidences and support documents. Next one is you have to be comfort. So whenever you are going for audit, if out of 4 legs in a chair, if one leg of the chair is broken, then if the manager has allotted that chair to you, then what will be your situation? So whenever you are doing audit or going for the audit, you have to be comfort. Comfort in sitting, comfort in movement, everything. And Abhinav sir, please include audit trails required to be filled in your audit program. Can we get the presentation of all training series, Ashok sir? Other than cash, I have recorded. Even this program also I am recording it. I'll try. I'll see that you will be getting it. Next one is you have to dress properly, and you should not have half pant while you are going to the audit, and you should not wear even the t-shirt. You can instruct your staff not to wear the t-shirt, because this is all important thing that a chartered accountant should have while doing the audit. And you should avoid all bad habits. You should not smoke. Even chewing, chew the chewing gum. You should not have some bad habits. Everything has to be done personally. So you have to avoid bad habits, and you should give respect to the staff, including the manager. Because if the manager is having discussion with some other party, you have to say that, sorry, sir, may I come in? So in that manner, you can ask and you can go enter the cabin. So, and also you should be a good listener. What manager says, you have to listen. Then only you have to take decision, and you have to avoid complaints also. You have to avoid complaints, and you should conduct the audit in a relaxed mood and no tension, because nothing will overtake you. But they will create a lot of tension. But you should not yield to the pressure. You will not yield to the practice of such tension. You should not yield to any such thing. You have to relax, and you have to do the audit in a very relaxed mood. Another thing, you may be smart, but I am not smart. So you can be a smart person, but don't show your smartness to others, because I am not smart. So this policy also you have to follow. Then there should not be no negative talks. Whenever you open the mouth for discussion, no, you should not have negative talks, and you should not use cell phone during the audit, because that will definitely divert your mind. And if you want to speak through cell phone, you go out, have discussion, then come back. And don't show your ignorance of knowledge by asking silly questions. A lot of people, they ask very, very basic thing. But if you ask those type of questions, then the manager thinks that, okay, this person is not having any knowledge. Yeah, Mohammed sir. This person is not. So you should not ask that type of ignorance of knowledge questions. Then before leaving the branch, now you want to leave the branch. What are that you have to take care? What are the things that you have to take care is, whenever you are leaving the branch, you have to pack your materials only. Don't pack bank's material. So normally the manager is having some gift item and some valuable items he will have. But whenever you pack materials, you should not pack bank's material. You have to pack only your working notes, your related thing, your calculators. And after completion of the audit, you have to go and say thanks to all staff members, because in future you have to go to that branch for some other purpose. So you have to maintain HR also. And after reaching home, you have to prepare the report. Nowadays, you have been forced by the branch to prepare the report there itself at the branch, and you have to put the signature digitally at the branch. So sometimes if it is not possible for you to prepare the report at the branch, you have to come office and prepare it. Then sometimes you should not ask for tour arrangement, sir, which is a very good place here. You should not ask. If you want to go, you can ask, you can get the list and you go on your own. And you should not ask for any, you should not, sir, have you released any keychain, or do you have diary, this and that? Don't ask. You should not ask, you should not accept any gift given by the branch managers. And the attendance details is very, very important. What is attendance? Because you have to claim the bill before the bank. So you have to get the attendance details correctly. So this time I have entered, this days we have worked, these following persons have worked, everything you have to take note of it. Now all report are online in bank software only. Yes, sir. But everything you have to verify and do it. Everything is available in the bank software. But you have to do it and you have to verify it. Then normally whenever you enter the branch, the managers ask this basic 5 questions. Sir, when are you going to complete the audit? This is the first question. Just now you entered and he said, sir, when are you going to complete the audit? Because sir, I want to go on leave. I've already got permission. Go on LFC. Don't inform that within this days, within 3 days, 2 days, I am going to complete the audit. Don't inform this. And what about the behavior of you? Do you have any drinking? Are you a drunkard person? Everything they will ask. And what about your staff? How they behave? Everything, all the manager they will ask. And particularly, they will ask everything about you with your staff. And you have to instruct your staff not to tell about you, even though you are in a good mood. Don't ask them to reveal. Then you should have what is the food habits and entertainment and which area you want to commence the audit. That is another question they will ask. Sir, are you interested to commence cash, jewels and everything? And that is okay. That's a normal question. And the last point is the very, very dangerous point. The manager, he will say that, sir, first you do jewel, then go to document, then come for cash. He will give direction. Don't yield to that type of directions. You have to plan yourself and do the audit. Okay, these things managers, they will ask. And come and ask the branch manager. So this is the way in which I am doing. So I'm even when I do my SWOT analysis on my personal, I may be strong in the bank subject, but I'm not sound in computer operations. I know what to question, where to question, and how to question. But myself, and I think Mohan sir also, he will accept. In previous years, we are very strong in manual system. So when we are strong in manual system, we will ask the questions. Now it is a computerized one. So you have to ask the manager, sir, can you depute one assistant to you to help you during the audit? Till completion of the audit, you have to ask his assistants. Definitely all the managers, they will give the help. Along with that, the system will also come because he is the person who is operating the system. So you can ask him to produce all details, everything. Then also all the statements which are subject to be verified by the auditors. So you have to give instruction to the manager, sir, what are the statements that I want to verify? I have to verify what are the documents that I have to certify. Every documents you have to ask the manager. He will definitely produce, and you have to verify those documents as per auditor instruction. Suppose if the staff is going on, or if you are representing some other auditor, you have to get the instruction from the other auditor, and you have to complete the audit. And what are the areas that you have to commence the audit? These are the important areas wherein you have to commence the audit. This we will go in depth in audit program. Anyhow, I'll tell to you cash verification that I've already covered. Jewel securities, advances. Next, you have to go to advances. Normally, we are not concentrating on deposits because this time in LFAR, they force the auditors to do deposit verification also because they want a specific certificate in LFAR. So, and another thing is you have to verify a long form audit report, and this LFAR, that is long form audit report, which is a new LFAR suggested by RBI, which they have issued on 5th September of 2020, which is applicable for the financial year 2021, and it has to be specifically reported. Normally in the long form audit report, wherever we go, we used to see that all LFAR contains only no, nil, not applicable, yes. But this year you have to give a specific report. Specific report. Yes. Yes. For what reason? No. What reason? Not applicable. Why it is not applicable? Everything has to be specific. And you have been forced to commit on all the columns of LFAR. And particularly, they have given lot of importance to the fraud. If you fail, say here, that's why even in the last session, I think I said this, if any fraud is not detected during the course of audit, then the auditor is held personally responsible for the loss to the bank, not the other things. If there is a fraud to the tune of 1 crore, if the fraud is to the tune of 1 crore, you are also made a party to the fraud. So kindly bear this point in your mind and do the audit. If any fraud is undetected during the course of audit, then the auditor is held personally responsible for the loss to the bank, apart from losing our certificate, apart from facing our institute action, apart from facing court action, RBI action, central government action, and all the regulators, they will come after you, and you have to answer everyone. So the thing is, you have to do the audit carefully, and that too particularly go to a new LFAR. LFAR in fraud comes in para 4.4 and in 0.443. Roman 3, you have to see. So if you go and read the third point, it's a dangerous thing. What about your observation about this? So yeah, they were given a very, very big list. So you have to be very, very careful in LFAR, and you have to prepare the tax audit reports. Then after that, you have to call for the certificates. What are the certificates you have to sign? But you have to verify all those certificates, and then only you have to sign. Without verification of certificates, you are not supposed to sign. Otherwise, if you blindly sign, then you will be in danger. Then next thing, before commencement of the audit, you have to ask for the following reports: internal audit report, concurrent audit report, revenue audit report, inspection audit report, last year statutory audit report, revenue audit report, LFAR of last year, everything you have to ask, and just spend 1 hour or 2 hours to read these reports. And if they made any adverse comment, if they made any adverse comment, if they made, that auditors, they mentioned some adverse comments, those adverse comments, you have to take note of it, and you have to ask the manager whether he has rectified or not. If it is rectified, you have to see the evidence. If it is not rectified, there also you have to cover that point in your LFAR. So this is also a specific report, specific point in the LFAR. And read the above reports and give any adverse comments and give the same in your report. Go to the checklist. Going for this is a basic audit planning that you have. If you complete that audit program, definitely you will be a master in the planning program and everything. I'll go to that PPT. Just wait. And I'll tell the source from where I have taken this. This source I have taken from the Insurance ICA's guideline book. I never prepared this. This I have taken from the ICA guideline book. It will take more time to do audit. Yes, sir. How audit can be done within 3 days or 4 days? Respected person said me, increase the manpower for complete the audit. Yeah, Amar, you are correct. You can increase the manpower, but that man should also know everything. You can take 20% to help you. Okay, this is a thing. Is this point is visible to you, sir? Audit aspects. Yeah. Okay. First thing, you have to take the engagement letter to the appointing authority. There is a specific format in our ICA guideline book, guidance note, 2021. You have to take the engagement letter. So such and such person, we are going to accommodate along with the audit. We are going to commence the audit. Everything will be there. There is a specific format in our ICA guidelines. You have to take it. And second point, you have to get the no objection letter from the previous auditors. Mostly auditors, they are not taking it because since it's a bank, they are not taking it. But as a matter of principle, you have to take NOC from the previous auditors. They used to previous year auditor's name and address, everything will be supplied, will be printed in the appointment letter. And third one is meeting and discussion with the bank branch manager and understanding the profile of the branch and his business and take a note of the same. What is this? So you have gone to the bank. You should have some 5 minutes discussion or 10 minutes discussion about the branch. So which is the main area of your lending? What are the types of depositors? What are the types of the customers? Who is the main customer? Who is the big customer? Who is the NPA customer? You can have some discussion with the branch manager even before commencement of audit. And letter of requirement to the branch. Letter of requirement to the branch. Suppose what are the details that you require, you have to prepare the same from your office. Only you have to hand over, then only you'll ask the question. Sometimes you can ask the other meeting of cash. I already said, see what is the retention limit. So for that, are you where is the evidence that your branch has got the retention limit? Extent. For that, the manager, they have to produce the retention limit letter. Normally, this retention letter limit will not be available. So you can ask the manager saying that retention letter, retention limit evidence is not available with me. You have to get a letter from the manager. Next one is insurance policy available? The manager says no insurance policy is available. It is available at the head office. We are not having any copy of it. So what are the details that you want to get from the manager that you have to give it in writing? For that, you have to prepare everything at once. Then you have to give it. Even when you are going to the bank audit, you carry your letter pad. Even I used to carry my printer also, because I'll take laptop, I'll take printer, because I'll go only by car. So I never hesitate to take my printer also. So if anything is required, you just type it, have the print and give to the manager and get a acknowledgement. So I want these files to be verified. You type it, take the printout and give to the manager. If the same is not produced, then you can cover. You have to cover that point in your report, saying that, sir, man has not. The manager has not produced this because I totally disagree with the entire transaction of that file. Something, it may be wrong. Then you have to review. This point we have already said. You have to review. You have to review of previous auditors report and LFR. That's why I said you have to read previous auditors report and LFAR and current periods. That is the audit period. Subject to
earphone.
So you have to see the present inspection report. Otherwise, even you can ask what is the latest inspection report. You go through the inspection report. In the inspection report, they will give highlight this is a serious nature. They will give you a separate report and areas. The general irregularities, everything they will give you in general format. So you have to take that for your reference. Then you have to verify the revenue audit report if there is any leakage, whether the same is being recorded by the branch or not. That also you have to take note of it. Now RBI inspection report, you have to go and ask for the RBI inspection. See, normally RBI, they have to carry the inspection once in 2 years or 1 year. Normally for few, regular branches, big branches, they are going for each 1 year, and even once in 2 years also they are doing the audit. So you have to ask for the latest revenue, latest RBI inspection report. You have to go through it. What are the comments that they made against the branch? That also you have to take note of it. And complaints of the branch to all the above. So you have to ask the manager, sir, the RBI team has commented like this. Have you rectified it or not? If they rectify it, they have to give evidence. And for everything, there is one letter is called as complaints report. They have to inform. They have to give to the regional office. So you have to ask for the complaints report. So this also you can include in your letter and say that, sir, kindly give the all complaints report about the auditors report, previous auditors report, concurrent audit, revenue audit, inspection audit, stock audit, and credit audit, everything. It's not included, but you have to say this. Point number six. This is also a part of audit program. Physical verification of cash, gold, and valuable securities. We have already discussed about cash and gold and securities also. So what are the things that you have to verify? Who has to verify the cash and at what time, and who has to conduct the gold verification, and who has to, if there is any mistake, where to report, everything you should know. So they say that in the audit program of our ICA, they say that you have to physically verify cash. You have to physically verify gold. You have to physically verify the valuable securities. Then you have to take note of it. Suppose shortage of cash appearing in trial balance. What is shortage of cash appearing in trial balance? So shortage of cash, that's a cash stock excess short register, and you have to take your trial balance and see the closing balance of cash tallies with the stock register. If it is tallied, then there is no difference. In case there is any shortage or any excess, the same as also to be reported to the controlling authorities, because it is the manager's duty. As an auditor, you have to see whether there is any late cash that has been kept inside or on the year end. On 31st of March, some late cash would have come, and even sometimes late payment would have been done. So that also you have to include. Bank always tells that no pen drive USB portal in that system, and also cannot open email and provide statements on mail to the auditors. Is it true? Sir, the managers still they send the mails to the auditors, because they have got the provision, but they are not sending the mail. If you want, you can send the, they can do it, but they will not allow your pen drive to be used in their portal system. It is not correct. You are not supposed to use your pen drive into the bank's portal system. It's a confidential matter. They will not allow you, but they can send the email to you, sir. And the difference in physical verification of gold. This is already said. If the number of packets does not tally with the stock, that point also you have to say. You say that on physical verification, I have found out gold pack of some 732, but as per the register, it is 735. 3 packets are not accounted by the branch. What to do? So that point also you have to cover in your report. And moving to the next point, 8th point, reconciliation of the current account maintained with other banks, Reserve Bank of India. See, point number 8. Point number 8 is, it is nothing. Today audit program is, I'll explain all important heads of the account, and this will be useful to you. Point number 8 is applicable to the treasury operated branches. A bank can open an account with the Reserve Bank of India, State Bank of India, and other banks. So in the balance sheet, if you happen to go and see the balance sheet, you can find these entries in the balance sheet. That is closing balance you can find. And if that is there, then you have to ask for the confirmation statement or balance statement from the Reserve Bank of India and State Bank and other banks. If there is any difference, who has to do the reconciliation? This point you have to bear in mind. This reconciliation has to be done by the branch and not by you. Please don't do the reconciliation by yourself. Your role is to ask, sir, I want gold appraisal. I want the bank confirmation certificate. If that's the difference, you do the reconciliation. So the reconciliation has to be done by the branch and not by you. And whether random of 3 to 4 packs to be opened from packet and asked to see, Ashok sir, don't do that type of mistake. Don't open any pack. You have to do the package counting. What is the number of packets available, that you have to count the packets. That's all. Don't try to open it. Don't ask him to verify the purity, this and that. Don't take that much of risk in the statutory audit. If you're a concurrent auditor, you can give instruction saying that you please ask the other bank appraiser to come to you and do the appraisal work. But as a statutory auditor, don't do this type of mistake. And gold valuation appraiser or customer to be called opening the packets. See, gold loan is being raised. The party has given the loan. Appraiser has verified, and the packet is being given to the manager. The manager, he has sanctioned the loan, and after sanction, he will kept all the gold loans into the gold vault. That's all. Whenever the party comes and if he closes the loan, the gold packet will be returned to him. That's all. And RBI account have contra entry in the trial balance. Yes, sir, it will be there, but you have to do the reconciliation between your account with RBI account. RBI may put some charges, but that charges are not known to you. Sometimes the RBI say that they have sent the fund to other branches, other bank, but that entry will, by mistake, that will also appear in your head, in your statement. So you have to do the reconciliation work. Next one is reconciliation of no-show account with no-show mirror account. What is no-show account? No-show, you know, no-show account. No-show account is an account. This no-show account, normally it's being used during the foreign exchange transaction. No-show account is an account opened by the Indian-based bankers at the foreign country at the foreign country's currency. That no-show account will be used to collect the export process. If any export is being done, they will send the bills for collection. Everything has to be collected through the no-show. There is another account called as WOSHO account. WOSHO account is an account opened by the foreign bankers in India to get the to get the import process. So here, what is the no-show account as per the branch? And you have to ask for the real no-show account from the respective branch. You have to do it, you have to compare it. So reconciliation work of no-show account and no-show mirror account, you have to verify. There is no gold in the branch, but interest in gold loan parked in P&L account. How it happened? You have to inquire. Sometimes in the middle also, the gold loan will be in the opening. In the middle, they would have closed the loan. So for up to that period, the branch would have earned interest that is being credited to the P&L account. That this is also, there is also a chance like this. And next one is physical verification of investment. Yes, physical verification of investment. The branches, they have to make investment with other banks or other branches. So if that is there, whether it is for short term or long term, whatever be the situation, you have to ask for the evidence towards the tickets, and in whose behalf the investment is made, whether the investment is being made on behalf of the branch or on behalf of the head office. If the investment is being made on behalf of the head office, the deposit receipt should contain the name of the branch, head office. Then the interest paid on those deposits have to be credited to the P&L account of the head office. Normally, by mistake, what they will do, they will credit the interest to the bank's balance sheet. So that has to be reversed. So this is the thing. So main thing is you have to see the investment portion as well as the receipt, investment portion as well as the deposit receipt. And Amar asked, if bank have any exporter client, then the bank must have no-show account, otherwise no. Whether, see, no-show account is the responsibility of, say, it's that is category A branch. They are controlling the no-show account. That is a hub. That's the main bank which are directly dealing in foreign entity. They are opening the no-show account. But B category branches, they have to collect all the bills and they have to send to the no-show account directly, and this has to be informed to the category A branches. So even though they are not, if they are not having a no-show account, they are not having any export account, there is no-show account. But the banker is having, not for every no-show account, each and every bank they have one no-show. Okay, and understand the 10th point I'm reading. Obtain a certificate from the manager for the same. So you have to, this instruction that is already being given, you have to obtain a certificate from the branch manager that this is the total investment made, this is the total certificate, This is a deposit receipt number. This is going, this has got the validity period of 2 years or 3 years. Everything will be clearly stated in that letter, and this you have to keep it for your file. And point number 11, understand the system in DBS at the branch. So if you are very comfortable in computerized operation, you have to understand the DBS system, and you have to verify the controls that is being implemented in the computerized environment, and verify exception report. Why you have to verify exception report? Sometimes someone has passed the entry, and by mistake he has passed and it has to be removed, and for this there should be a ratification, it should be approved by other officer. Everything will be reflected in the exception report. The exception report, you can say that if there is any alteration, all the alterations you can take from the exception report. Understand the editable and uneditable fields at the branches. This is this you can see the software at the time of preparation. They say that the amount can be edited, or sometimes after passing the entry it cannot be edited. If it cannot be edited, that is called as uneditable. And if you before passing the entry, before approving it, you can do all type of editing the work. So this field you have to understand. For this I request you to verify the system audit conducted by the system auditor. It may be a chartered accountant, even from the head office also they will do the system audit. And system of downgrading and upgrading of account. What is downgrading and upgrading of account? In NPA? In NPA, the standard account, if it becomes substandard, it's a downgrading of account. The system should take care of it. And if every money is being paid by the borrower, then those accounts have to be upgraded. So the system, it should take care. And what is the interest calculation? So for the interest calculation, I request you to verify. Manager, do not print exception report. Yes, sir. Now they have the printout, and that will be kept. See, every day they have to prepare the print the exception report, and they keep it separately for the order, not for the audit purpose, for security purpose. Exception report, if you ask, they will definitely produce you. You can go through it. And interest calculation. For interest calculation, you have to see the master record, because at the time of sanction, the party, he will prepare the he will open the account, and by creating a master record, in the master record, they will enter the party name, loan amount, period of repayment, interest rate applicability, loan repayment period, what is EMI, everything they will record in the master record. So thereby you can see that whether the interest calculations have been done properly or not. Sometimes if the head office has issued or modified some interest rate, that interest rate, whether it has been properly implemented or not, that also you can see. Generation of reports relating to advances of classification, capital adequacy calculation. So if you say this, then if you give the command, all the reports you can generate from the system. So this also you have to see. For this you have to do some test check, and for your verification, if you want, you can they have to provide it. See, while doing the audit, I used to ask the loan trial balance. So you can ask this year also, whenever you are going for audit, you can ask for the loan trial balance. What is loan trial balance? In the loan trial balance, if you ask, and they will produce the maybe around 750 pages it will come. So you ask them not to print jewel loans, not to print staff loan, deposit loan. It will come to some 300 pages. They say that, sir, 300 pages it is coming. Okay, so it's only 300 pages, give it. Because you can find all loan that the branch has sanctioned from the date of opening to till date. So that is being reflected in the loan trial balance. From there, you can identify everything. So every printout you can take from the software. And which date to take exception reports to verify? Daily you have to verify, Ashok sir. And as a concurrent auditor, you are supposed to verify. How is it possible to check all the daily exception report? Amar sir, you are going for statutory audit. So there is no compulsion. But if you are going for concurrent audit, it is your duty. Is there any manipulation done by the officers in the system that you have to obtain from it? And later report balances do not tally with borrower's statement, even DOS, CL, balance, security, amount, etc. Yes, and from that is statutory audit, I am asking, sir. Yes, see, if it is not tallied, then the duty is you have to report it. if there is any difference, you don't worry, the reconciliation work falls on the manager. And if the balance is not tallied, you have to report it. That ends our role. And with the reference to exceptional report, it is for statutory audit, you can say that I have test checked the exceptional report for the following days. In that manner, you can do. The compliance of instructions issued by bankers, yes, and closing circular. So this circular you have to ask. Closing circular. So what is the, sir, where is the closing circular? The manager, he will produce. You go through the closing circular, what are the instructions that head office has given to the branch, that also you can find in the closing circular. So you have to go through the closing circular, and all other relevant internal circulars, master circulars, and other notifications issued by RBI. So here I want to suggest one thing. See, every week, please go to the RBI site and read the RBI circulars. This will definitely update your knowledge. And the internal circulars, they issue the internal circulars based on the RBI circulars. Internal circulars, you can ask, suppose in advances area, if they type it, you can view all the circulars issued by the head office to the branches. Everything is serially numbered. If what are the areas that you want to check it, if you go through the circulars, internal circulars, you can identify if there is any material instruction or important instruction given by the head office to the branches, whether the branch has followed those instructions or not, that you have to verify and report it. And another thing is significant account policies of the bank and mandatory accounting standards and other notifications are with reference to bank's policy. In this LFAR, you have to give a specific certificate stating that the branch has followed the bank's policy. And you don't know about the bank's policy. How you say that yes, the branch has followed the bank's policy? Yeah, the bank's policy is available in the soft copy as well as hard copy at the branch level. So for your general purpose, you have to call for the bank. You have to read the bank's policy, because these are the things they have added in the new LFAR. So you have to go through the LFAR, you have to go through the bank's policy, then arrive at the decision. And whether the bank is following the bank mandatory accounting standards and auditing standards and other notifications. In the closer circular, they will mention the all AS. You go through the ASs, through those AS, and do the audit accordingly. Point number 13. Is there any manual intervention generating ladder report? I think no. The system takes care of everything. And point number 13. Prepare a list of various closing returns to be certified and check the same with the during the audit. Sir, what are the statutory audit? I want to say one thing. What are the statutory audit? All the certificates that are required to be signed by the statutory audit, the bank, they will provide you all those certificates. But your duty is to verify each and every entry in the certificate. For this, you have to ask the manager to produce evidence. Sir, you have said the branch has received a subsidy amount of 50,000. Can you show the entry? If the manager has proved those entries, then everything is correct. Then what are the certificates, whether interest subvention certificate, whether subsidy certificate, whether the Mudra loan certificate, whatever certificate is there, you have to ask for the evidence and you have to verify each and every entry. There is, the bank already said there is no fee to be paid to give additional certificates. So though no fees will be paid, you have to do the verification individually, and you have to be very, very careful in doing the certification of certification that are required to be signed by you. Then checking of balance sheet items, checking of the following advances. Take the list of all advances. So it's very, very simple, sir. The mode in which I am doing the advance revision, I'll tell. And if it's suitable, you can follow. Otherwise, you can follow your own step. This will cover almost all. See, go to the bank's balance sheet. Take the advance. What is the total advance? and you go to the breakup of advance. In the breakup of advance, there will be some ledgers. What are the ledgers that lead to the breakup? Then in the ledgers, what are the types of loans? Housing loan. Suppose if it is a term loan, housing loan, personal loan, machinery loan, what are the term loans? You will get the list. CC also same thing. Then term loan you have chosen. So you go and open the term loan folio. That will give all the borrowers list who have all obtained term loans. Then do the audit individually. So first you complete term loan, housing loan, then for machinery loan, then for personal loan, then for vehicle loan. Go step by step. So you will not be omitting any area. Don't go zigzag. So if you go here and there, then you will miss the major items. In this manner, you have to do it. Here, take the list of all advances along with the facility wise. Term loan, working capital loan, in working capital loan, packing credit loan, and bill discounting. And what are the total outstanding? Name of the lead bank. Lead bank means the if the consortium advances are there, then you have to take the name of the lead bank and credit rating. If anyone has obtained a loan from bank crossing 5 crores, they have to obtain the credit rating certificate from the approved RBI's approved credit rating agency. That certificate you have to see. Then credit summation in the account. Suppose if you are going for an audit for 1 year, for this year 2021, if you want to verify the credit summation, you can give the comment what are the credits that have been made into the account for the period from 1/4/2020 to 31/3/2021. This is required, and you have to compare this with the turnover. And if the turnover says 5 lakhs, if the credit into the account is only 30,000, that means all cash has not been, all transactions have not been routed to the account. This comment you have to make. And whether the party has remitted the cash money into the account, that means the money has not come through the transfer format. So that also you have to observe and you have to give. And what's the last date for submission of the stock statement? Normally it is 7th in the sanction letter. If you happen to see, it is 7th within 7 days, they have to submit the stock statement to the bank. For this, you have to refer the sanction letter. This may be even 10 days. Within 7 days from the last date of the previous month. So if it is February 29, February 28, it has to be submitted on or before 7th of March. Then take review of the account. What is the review of the account? That means whether the stock statement is submitted on time, whether data statement is submitted on time, everything, whether they follow the sanction letter or not, that you have to go through it. And this should help the selection of the accounts of scrutiny. Suppose if the customer is not correct, then you can go depth into the transaction. Then the next one is critical review of all large advances and their reporting as per the prescribed format. If there are large advances, say as per the present norms, the large advances are 10% of the total aggregate outstanding of funded and non-funded advances, or 10 crores, whichever is less. Suppose if the limit is 400 crores, 10% works out to 40 crores or 10 crores, whichever is less. That means the advances in excess of 10 crores are treated as large advances from this financial year. Previously, it was 5% and 2 crores. Now it is 10% and 10 crores. So in this manner, you have to identify the large advances. Then you have to see that is there any critical item, whether is there any material nature that will affect the transaction, that will affect the money of the bank, everything you have to review and you have to give that point in your report. And there is a prescribed format that is available in the long form audit report in Annexure 3. That in the long form audit report, the Annexure 3 has to be filled and duly signed by the branch manager, and those reports have to be handed over to you for your verification. Then classification of advances as per IRAC norms. So you have to see whether the branch has classified the NPA classifications correctly or not. Whether even this year also they have included SMA 012. SMA 0 is a loan has to be paid on or before the due date. If the loan is not being paid on or before the due date, then for the period of first month, say 1 to 30 days, it is 1 to 30 days, it is called as SMA 0. And the outstanding exceeds more than 30 days, it will be called as SMA 1. That is 31 to 60 days, it will be called as SMA 1. and 60, I mean 61, 31 to 60 days, then 61 to 90 days, it is SMA 2. If in all these SMA 0, 1, 2, the party has not made the payment on the 90th day, it will become, 91st day, it will become NPA. And this is some queries. Please highlight on generated reports to be called on from the sir. I will prepare the questions on a later part because sir, for want of time I am not prepared. And what are the questions that you want to ask with the manager, that I will send through you separately to your mail. And for audit year 2021, if the stock statement is not submitted on time and DP not maintained, then the account has to be classified as NPA or not because of Supreme Court. Yeah, Vikram, you are correct. The Supreme Court said DP calculations have to be postponed till 31/3/2021. So that account will not be treated as NPA even though the stock statements have not been submitted, because DP calculation is being postponed. But you can report that though the statement, though the Supreme Court said DP need not be considered, but you have to see that whether the branch has received the stock statement or not, that you have to do it. You have to follow the Supreme Court order. Why Supreme Court order state the financial reason stock statement not submitted is not a financial reason, it's a technical reason. Sir Amar sir, you are correct. We cannot question the Supreme Court. One. Second thing, any advance standard as on 29/2/2020, the government has already gave the moratorium for first 3 months, next 3 months. That is up to 31/8/2020. No changes will be modified, will be there in the status of the account. But Supreme Court said that on 31st of August, with its interim order, they say that no further the account should not be downgraded to NPA because of the moratorium circular. So we have to wait, and they say that the DP also they have given the relaxation, and it has to be restored on 31/3/2021. After that, if the DP is not regular, you can do the regular charging of interest and everything. But they say that whether the interest is being calculated on accrual basis or simple interest basis, still the clearance is required. And in then classification of IRAC norms. IRAC norm means SMA 0, 1, 2, you have to do it, then NPA calculation. This is a separate section. You have to know know how to calculate NPA working. Then latest, please, if the last auditor skip NPA and accounts account is NPA as on 28/2 as RBI norms, then yes, if it is NPA, from your audit point of view, you can say that that account has already been defined as substandard. So that account is not eligible for moratorium. Then you can give your report. But the thing is, can we question the authority of the previous auditor? This is the thing I want to ask. If you question, then previous auditor will also be in trouble. But do the audit according to your decision and report it, whether he has classified or not, because only eligible customers are eligible to get all the benefits. Okay, this you can do it. Then latest valuation of security given in the agriculture process, you have to see that a valuation has to be done for the towards a collateral property for a period of, if you did the valuation today, that valuation is valid for 3 years. Then after that, that valuation has to be done by another engineer and that valuation is also valid for 3 years. If the valuation is not done within a period of 3 years from the date of original valuation, then you have to cover that point in your report. Then next one is the provision on NPA as per IRAC norms. Yes, the provision has to be, normally it is being taken care of by the central statutory auditor and not by the branch auditor. But for this, you have to refer the appointment letter. Then a review of all major restructured cases along with the compliance norms as per guidelines. So as per the compliance norms up to the period of COVID, if any restructuring is done to the asset if any reschedulement is done to the standard asset, then it has to be downgraded to substandard. But as per the COVID circular, it has to be treated as only standard asset. Okay, this is whether the branch has followed the restructuring norms or not, that you have to give in your report. You have to plan accordingly in your audit programming. List of all SMA2 accounts, that is 61 to 90 days, and other accounts mandated for reporting and reporting to the same to the concerned authorities. So normally this previously it was manual. Now it is everything is systematic. System is taking care. Even for the head office level also they are taking the printout, and even the system also gives these are the accounts, they are coming under SMA2. But as a matter of principle, they have to send a message or mail the regional office that the following accounts have come into SMA2. But if an account comes into SMA2, the regional office itself, they call the branch officers. The account has already come to SMA2, go and do the recovery work. Yes, sir. And I want to say information to the fellow participants. Tomorrow is going to be very, very interesting and important session for you. I plan to take the RBI circulars in detail. RBI circulars in detail relevant for this year audit. So in that I will cover the restructured advances, because all the circulars are pertaining to the restructured advances. So please attend the session tomorrow. I'll tell the time and everything based on the availability. I'll tell. Maybe it will be around 4:30. After 4:30, I may take it. But tomorrow I plan to take only the circulars, applicable for the members. So you please verify. You please inform this to your all friends also, because it will definitely help them to attend. It will definitely help them to go through it, and it will be it will definitely be helpful them to do the audit correctly. And listed 2 accounts, and they have to give. Next one is loan account performing. Here, review of all large advances with balances of lower of 10% or 10 crores, whichever is advances, whichever is. So you have to calculate the large advances. What is large advances? As per the present norm issued on 5th of September 2020, they say that 10% of total outstanding of aggregate of funded and non-funded advances are 10 crores, whichever is less. They are called as large advances. You have to review all those advances, and you have to see what are the loans sanctioned during the year. Normally, it's a caution I want to give you. Normally, we are not concentrating on loans sanctioned during the year and closed during the year. This point you have to see. What are the loans sanctioned during the year and what are the loans closed during the year, that you have to verify. I said loan opened and closed during the year also you have to verify. Why they opened, why they closed, that point also you have to prove. And third one is review of other advances on test check basis. Yes, you can do the test check. Review of adverse comments by the concurrent auditor RBI. That also you have to say what are the adverse comments given by concurrent auditor, that you have to give with reference to the standard assets. And review the suit filed accounts. Normally, a bank would have filed a case before court of law. The case would be pending at the court. For this, those accounts are called as suit filed accounts. And decreed advances are those advances wherein the court has already passed the orders. For this, you have to get a latest position letter from the advocate who are representing those cases. Otherwise, you can instruct the manager to get a letter from the advocate saying that what are the latest position of those cases which have been filed before court of law. Then review of accounts updated in the NPA. Reviewing of accounts from upgraded means review of accounts upgraded. That means from substandard to standard, from doubtful to standard. So you have to take note of it. From D1 to substandard, it is not an upgradation. If you want to upgrade from D3 to standard, D3 to D2, it's not called as upgradation. Whenever you want to remove the advance from the NPA, you have to upgrade to the position of standard. That means the party has to make all the payments up to date, then only that account will be upgraded. Then point number 7. Review of all accounts frequently exceeding the limit. Why? So why these accounts they have borrowed more? See, limit is 10 lakhs. Why he always insists for ad hoc? Say 1 lakh. Why he insists for 50,000? If frequent enhancement, frequent ad hoc has been received by the party, that also you have to go through it and include this in your audit program. Also verify all credit card dues and which are overdue and debit balance in SP account. So you have normally in rural branches, if you go for verification, you can find that credit cards have been, but that credit cards have not been paid. So why it has not been paid, whether NPA provisions are applicable to the credit card or not, that also you have to verify. And next one is debit in SP balance. Sometimes a manager says, he will come and ask, sir, I want 10,000 excess tomorrow, I will come and pay you. The manager with his powers, he will allow that debit balance in SP account. If the debit balance is that, then you have to inquire to what extent, for how many days the debits are there in the SP account, that you have to inquire. Sir, regarding suit filed cases, whether we can ask for the report on current position prior to the commencement audit. Sir, don't worry, Jigesh. The question that you have to ask is, say, as on today, what are the cases that you have filed before court of law? What is the latest position, date on which it has been paid, whether the case has been adjourned, what is the latest fate of the cases, that you have to ask. In case of decreed advances, if why the case is been decreed on such and such a date, why it has not been executed. The decree and decreed advances can be executed on or before 12 years. So this question you have to ask. Next one is check drawing power calculation as usual in stock and creditors. You have to verify the drawing power calculation. That should also be a part of your audit report. So all this you have to include. And see, I am going to do this, and this is my audit program. This is the way in which I have to do the audit. So you have to write an audit program, and this work you have to give to the staff, or sometimes you have to do the same. And point number 1 under loan outstanding, loan non-performing. Review of accounts, review the accounts which are classified as NPA during the year with reference to security value, interest reverse, date of NPA provisioning. You know that in NPA date identification is very, very important. And interest reverse, that is under reversal of unrealized interest. And what is the security that is available to the loan account, everything you have to take note of it. Then review the annual stock report of NPA with the balance of 5 crores and above. And latest valuation, see, in NPA, what is the latest question? If the loan is above 5 crores, okay, you have to review whether the NPA transfer is correct, whether is there any account operation in the NPA account or not, everything you have to verify. Apart from that, even though those loans are called as NPA, you have to do, or the branch has to do, revaluation of the property once in 3 years. So this means the branch has to do revaluation of properties, whether it is a performing or non-performing, once in 3 years. So that is validity of the property is only for 3 years. If it is not done, then that point you have to cover in your report. What are the notes that they are sanctioning? Following aspects of advances to be verified. That is pre-sanction. See, in sanction letter, you can see pre-sanction conditions, post-sanction conditions. In pre-sanction conditions, they put a lot of conditions. So these conditions are to be fulfilled by the borrower before release of the loan. Yes, the loan is now released. That comes to post-sanction. Then whether the branch has complied with the terms of the sanction, whether the borrower has complied with the terms and conditions, whether the branch has obtained the documentation correctly, and what is the end use, that also you have to see. Next one is monitoring. Yes, now loan is sanctioned, loan is applied, it is sanctioned, now it is released. After that, whether the borrower is performing the transaction, maintaining the loan accounts as per the sanction terms and conditions, that you have to see, and that you have to monitor. That you means the branch has to monitor, and you have to monitor whether the manager has monitored those accounts or not. And what is the DP, everything you have to monitor, whether the insurance policy is available or not. Yeah, suppose whether the insurance policy is expired, and why it is expired, why it has not been renewed. Everything you have to take note of it. And I am going to point number 2. All those accounts verified in category of 1 to 9 should be documented. What is to be documented? It has to get the signature from the borrower in the prescribed format of the branch. And it has to be executed. It has to be executed by everyone. Next thing, if they execute those documents, those papers, they are called as documentation. This documentation, it has to be, it will form part of the audit. It will form part of the audit. You have to verify whether all those documents are legally enforceable or not. Then I am going to point number 2, verify controls in respect of the following important items. This we have already discussed. In the cash should be in the dual custody. For this, you have to verify key moment register and vault register. Custody in issue of check or payment order. For this, you have to verify those secured items. This also has to be kept in dual custody. And ATM cash as per books and the actual balance failed tallied with the at the year end. So you have to verify the ATM register, and you have to see, you have to take closing balance from the ATM machine and compare it. If there is any deviation or difference, then that has to be reconciled by the manager. Point number 3, fixed assets. Normally, all the fixed assets have been taken care of by the head office. It is there is only what are the entries that have been allowed to be passed in the account that will be passed in the fixed assets entry. Checking of addition, deduction, transfers of fixed assets supported by proper bills, invoices, just like what we are doing for our regular clients in the company's audit. You have to do it. What are the addition to the fixed assets? Deletion, that is deduction, whether you have sold it or not. Sometimes you can transfer one asset to another branch. So for everything, it should be supported by invoices. Suppose if it is purchased by branch on as per the instruction of the controlling authorities, you have to verify the invoices and whether those invoices are genuine in nature, that you have to verify. And the checking of depreciation on additions, deductions during the year and the existing assets as per the policy of the bank. Normally, depreciation entries have been passed by the head office and not at the branch level. For this, you have to see the closure surplus. There you will find verification of fixed assets schedule, furniture and fixtures, reconciliation of the figures. So it's nothing. Asset verification, asset management verification, purchase, sales, depreciation, whether it is properly recorded or not. Registered. There you can do the verification. Deposit. 4. Verification of anti-money laundering guidelines and compliances with KYC norms on test check basis and basis that overdue deposits. Money laundering, there is some unnecessarily there will be sudden spurt in deposits, so you have to go for it. Whose money is there in the bank? Because if the money is being kept in the form of deposit, it will not be questioned by anyone nowadays. The same may be questioned by the income tax department. Suppose even if you put 5 lakhs into the SP account, you will get a notice or you will get information in 26 says that this person has made the deposit on such and such date. You have to give explanation. So you have to see the KYC norms also with reference to deposits. That is very, very important. Next one is check the TDS against the deposit and following 15G, 15H. And the movement of deposits, whether on the last day, whether huge deposits have been moved from loan account to deposit account. If that is there, that is called as window dressing as per the Reserve Bank norms. Window dressing is not allowed by RBI. So you have to do this. And 5th one is enter office suspense account. That is transfer from head office to branch, branch to head office. And why those items are in long pending, that also you have to see. Then balance sheet finalization. Now they say that in balance sheet finalization, what are the items that you have to see? That all advances are shown in the proper hits and properly compared. Suppose sometimes priority sector advances will be classified as non-priority sector or non-priority will be classified as priority sector. Whether the proper classification is done or not, check for any negative balance in the trial balance. Suppose even in, we can say that debit of capital that will come in the asset side, and is there that we will say that it's a negative, will be in the negative figure. Just like that, if there is any negative figure means in the SB account, you can see if debit in SB will be shown as negative figure. If there is any negative figure, that you have to take note of it and you have to analyze all those things and check in case of advances that interest accrued but not due. Then say this is with reference to checking. You can easily understand. For each and everything, you have to put the plan. Interest accrued but not due. In credit balances in ODCC, inoperative account should not be netted off, because ODCC it shows debit balance. Sometimes the customer would have paid some amount in advance. KYC, even their funds are with us. You should not do the netted figure. If you do the netted figure, then your fees will be less. You should not allow them to do it. Okay, how to check the priority and non-priority classification? What's it? One question. Before that, I have got one question. Stock audit is applicable to NPA account. Normally, they won't allot stock audit, but during audit, if that account has become NPA, then you can you can do this NPA audit. How to check the priority and non-priority items? For this, there's a list in the RBI site. You go and download it. Even if you go and ask the manager, they will produce those lists, because you can simply say that real estate of apartment apartment construction comes under real estate. But if any loan is given to construct the apartment, it is non-priority. But if you buy a house from that apartment, it is called as priority. So based on the situation, you have to analyze, but this will be clearly indicated in the RBI list. You can go and verify, you can take the list and do the audit. How to check whether the branch has adequate system and processes as required to ensure adherence to KYC, AML guidelines towards prevention of money laundering and terrorist financing. Yes, sir, it is your duty. Suppose suddenly, if any account is opened without KYC, then you have to go into the reason why this account is opened. And if you see sudden spurt of money into the account, you have to see. Even if it is 10,000, 15,000, there is no such thing. If huge balances have been recorded, and if any huge money has come from abroad to this account, and if there is any huge money which is being transferred from this account to abroad in foreign currency, you have to see what is the nature of the transaction. There is no export of business, there is no import of business, but they are doing export. A lot of money comes into India and a lot of money goes out of India. Everything you have to incur. Based on the transaction only, you can say and you can identify all AML accounts. Means we check first saving account and see where the money comes. When the money comes to the bank, where it has been kept. It has to be kept either in SB or either otherwise in current account only. Or even it will be directly, no deposit also. Nowadays they are not allowing the direct deposit. It has to be deposited only through the. Then verify the anti-money laundering activities. Okay, checking liability for bank guarantee, LC and effects of expired bank guarantee. This portion yesterday I have covered. Bank guarantee is there. Bank guarantee issued and outstanding. Bank guarantee issued and the period is over. That's called expired guarantee. Bank guarantee, the beneficiary he wants to encash the bank guarantee because the principal debtor has failed to fulfill the conditions. So the bank guarantee is being handed over to the banker. The banker has still to accept. Yes, now the banker has accepted. Then he has revoked the bank guarantee. After revocation, the bank manager has to make the payment to the beneficiary. Yes, the payment is being made to the beneficiary. The borrower he has to repay the amount to the bank. These are the procedures that you have to see from the BG. And checking P&L account. So this also, I mean, the day for yesterday I have covered this portion. That is verification of interest on deposits, loans, and everything. And see here. During statutory audit, the RBI has given some concession to us. You have to do the test checking. Okay, you need not worry about the 100% verification. You have to do the test checking of advances. Then test checking of discount and commission and everything. And point number 4, define various ratios in terms of income, that is average interest income to average advances, and verify major movements. This normally we are not doing it, but you can include this in case of huge income and if there in case of huge variations, and if they specifically ask, you can give that point in your report. Point number 5, checking of interest in no-show account and no-show account debit balances, because that is an income to the bank. So you have to calculate it. For this, only category B branches, which are category A branches, they have to take care of it. Then point number 6, verification of recovery of account in the form of locker rent, staff accommodation, etc. with details of arrears. So they say that you have to make a program separately for locker rent. You have to make a program for staff accommodation, the locker rent, total locker available, and rent has to be collected. What amount you are collected? What is the pending? Whether the pending tallies with the outstanding or not, that you have to do it. And whether the locker rent is received for this year or for the next year also, that also you have to verify. Then with reference to a staff accommodation, sometimes they have entered into agreement for the staff quarters. Staff quarters, whether the payment has been made by the branch directly to the staff accommodation, and all details you have to call and you have to verify it. Then another thing is, so it's a very simple. So any debit in the P&L account, it has to be supported with evidence. Any credit in the P&L account, you have to see the source of the income. That's all. So very simple to verify the P&L account. And point number 7, commission on income on account of government business. That is, you are going there and remitting the income tax payment. You are there, you are remitting the GST, you are paying the PF. For this, these government departments, they have to make commission to the banks. Whether they have received the commission or not, everything you have to see. Details of prior period items of income as well as expenses that and details have been provided. For this, you have to verify the P&L account and as well as the cash sheet or register. Sometimes last year income also they would have received in the cash petty cash book. That's a cash register, and we can say I can say that it's a expenses register. Expenses register, expense can be made in the form of cash as well as in the check. For that, that's a separate register called expenses register. In that register, you have to see on which date, for what purpose they made the payment. If it is for the earlier period, that entry you have to ask, and you have to make the provision, or you have to do the reporting in your audit report, because you have to eliminate the prior period items. And booking of interest income on respect of partial recovery of NPAs. So if it is like if it is not a partial recovery, it is not for booking of interest on account of partial recovery NPA. Okay, the NPA reversal is say 50,000. The party has paid 25,000. So you can reverse 25,000 of interest. So this is called as partial recovery. Only when full interest is paid, you can reverse the full amount. But partial recovery, if it is there, that point you have to cover in your report. And what's that? Is all investments of the bank to be valued on market value on balance sheet date? Sir, it is with reference to Anil Sahu. There is no question of valuing the investments, all investments at the balance sheet date, because it's only the money which goes out of the bank. Whether those money which goes out of the bank has been properly authenticated, whether proper certificates have been produced by the bank or not, there is no need to value all the investments on the balance sheet date. Note down the reasons for any material variance, that also you have to give. Others, what are the other items? Checking of whether there is any fraud or not, that you have to report. And point number 2, statement of claims against the bank that not acknowledged by us debt. See, what is a claim that not acknowledged as debt? Like in PNB case, how to check whether the system link, the SHIP system, structured financial message system for lockers, etc. have been integrated with DBS, sir. Very simple, sir. You have given some guarantee and it is being discounted with some other bank. So when the bank made the claim to you, it has to come in the invocation register. If it is not coming in invocation register, then you have to see another point, whether the guarantee has matured or not. By applying simple logic, you can do the verification, whether it is a DBS environment or in manual environment or any system. If any debt, see, if I am the auditor or you are the auditor, you would have easily find, sir, the manager has given the guarantee, what happened to the guarantee, whether it's being invoked or not. This question no one has posed because everyone is polluted. The persons who are supposed to ask any question, they have all polluted. Then what to do? So only when other party clients, only when the affected party make the complaint, then only this type of mistake will come. So you are not the party, but you have to see to what extent they have made the non-funded lending. All the non-funded lending in the form of BG, LC, everything you have to scrutinize. What is the total LC given? What has happened? Whether it has already been invoked or not, everything you have to inquire. And if the LC is issued for 1 year, and if still it is another 4 years have crossed, then you have to see the purpose for which this LC is issued. You have to go and do the inquiry. This has not been done in the PNB case. Then second point, bank, that is loan of, one second, statement of claims against the bank but not acknowledged as debt. What is this? See, the bank on it in my area, one bank has lost the title deeds of the party. The party has filed a case of 2 crores against the bank. This is a claim that is made against the bank, but that is not acknowledged as debt by the bank. So if this, you have to go and ask, is there any case that has been filed against the bank against which you are not accepted, and you have to get a specific letter from the manager that there is no case like that. Then checking of forward exchange contract showing the sale and purchase of separately, review of NRE and FCNR account is nothing but purchase and sale of foreign currency. Whether it has to be, whether you have to see whether that bank or branch that you are going to do is being treated as authorized dealer. Only authorized dealers, they are allowed to buy and sell the foreign currency. What is the profit that is earned due to the currency transactions, and what is the total number of NRE, and you have to ascertain that the NRE account status continues for the year of audit. Also, sometimes the person who is a resident, non-resident, he would have come to India and settled India, but he still maintains NRE account and FCNR account. If there is such type of deposits, then that has to be reversed. So for this, you have to call for the evidence. And checking of bank guarantees given on behalf of constituents. Suppose if any guarantee is given, not for the party, but on behalf of others, then that guarantee also you have to verify. Checking of advances, endorsement, and other obligations, that is LC bills and bills accepted by the customers, you have to give. You have to verify. And any other contingent liability is are those liabilities which may occur or may not occur. If there is anything, you have to call for the contingent liability register. And if there is any entry, you have to probe and you have to do the audit. And you have to give report that all the contingent liabilities are in order. Then checking and preparation of interest subsidy certificate, that is as per various RBI and government schemes, correct accounting, whether the same are given to the eligible borrowers. You have to ask, have you received any subsidy from the government or not? And in what is interest subsidy? Normally in the education loans, the government say that we will reimburse the security. Let us take the present state government offer that we have cancelled all the JOL loans. On the JOL loan account, we will reimburse all the JOL loan accounts to the respective cooperative societies. Then they have to return the amount, return the JOLs to the party. But the government has given all the promise that we will give the subsidy to the bank. We will wipe off this amount. Even a lot of in the election manifesto of all the state governments, they are giving a lot of promises. And here the interest subsidy certificate is a confoundment. Let us take example of PMEGP, Prime Minister Employment Generation Program, wherein the state government has promised to give 15% subsidy to the government if that is the after sanction of the loan, the central government has to transfer the 15% subsidy to the bank. If that is there, the subsidy has to be kept in a separate register. And you have to ask whether those subsidies are minimum and maximum. That is, sorry, front-end subsidy or back-end subsidy. Front-end subsidy means the subsidy has to be adjusted immediately against the loan, immediately on the date of sanction, and back-end subsidy has to be adjusted only at the time of closure of the loan. For that, there is a separate certificate. Interest subsidy folio is there. You have to verify whether all those interest subsidy have been done as per the instruction, as per the direction given by the central government or not. For this, if the RBI is ready to give some interest subsidy, you have to get a certificate from RBI. And if any government is due to pay, then you have to get a certificate from the government that these amounts are still pending with the government. Then point number 8, checking of and writing of proposal of DSCGC claims, sharing of recovery, that is not there now. DSCGC claims have been, there is no pending DSCGC claims, even DSCGC claims are not in vogue now. Checking of annual returns of protested bill and recalled it. Protested bills are those bills which have been pending before court and settlement has to be done. Those are all coming under protested bills, and checking of LFIR schedules and preparation of LFIR. So they say that you have to do a separate planning, separate audit program for the LFIR as well as the tax audit report. Then final, after that you've done everything, now you have to do the final audit and reporting. Preparation of audit report as per the format prescribed by ICAI and even by the bank, you have to do the audit report. Then preparation of MOC, then preparation of tax audit report. Point number 4, preparation of LFIR, and to collect, you have to collect the following certificates. Physical verification of the fixed assets carried out during 31/3/2020 and during the year 2021. And opening, that means opening and closing, whether the same is reflected in the closing fixed asset register. And physical verification, they say that it's a physical verification. That means you have to physically verify the fixed assets. You have to verify physically the investments made, and you have to physically verify the cash balance. And if there is any return representation letter, that also you have to do a return representation letter for anything the customer would have given to the bank. That also you have to verify. But normally it is not possible within 2 to 3 days. But this has to be included in the audit program. To verify and issue the certificates as applicable, illustratively, you have to give Ghosh and Jilani committee certificate, DSCGC and ECGC claim certificate. In the ECGC claim made, and it has been rejected, and why it has been rejected. ECGC means Export Credit Guarantee Corporation. And what about the capital adequacy certificate? These are the certificates that you have to give. Then certificate treating an account as the bad and doubtful for as recovery as per the requirement of DSCGC and subsidy claim under PMEGP. Is there any interest suppression? And there are a lot of certificates that are required. Definitely you have to produce this year to the bank. But information, they say that there is no there is no fees to issue those certificates. So maximum time between 2 acknowledgement of date, a pro note is valid for first thing, it's a pro note. A pro note is valid for a period of 3 years. Before the end of 3 years, the bank has to get a fresh pro note. That fresh pro note is called as acknowledgement update or revival update. That acknowledgement update or revival update is also valid for another period of 3 years. Then next year, before the end of 3 years, once again the banks, they have to get the fresh acknowledgement update. With this, I'm stopping the presentation today with reference to bank planning and programming. I've given the list. This is available in your guidance note on bank audit of ICAI. You go and download it, and you can verify it, based on which also you can do the audit program. What are the items that you want to add, you can do it. Because here, I want to see that nothing is being omitted. So I go fast in some areas, in some area, but when while doing the audit, you have to be very, very careful, and if possible, you carry the guidance note of our ICAI 2021 for the purpose of easy verification. Suppose if I got any doubt, you can get all those points in that guidance note. And thank you very much for the patient hearing. And tomorrow I want to say, I'll tell the till the time, and the first thing you please fill the Google form so that I will mail every, link directly to you. Certificate of no fraud during the, yes sir, this Kandavel sir, this time they will definitely ask. And Amar, you asked about no, now no tax audit, now tax audit in statutory audit power. Then what we have that to check, because still we check all the area. Sir, you have to act according to the long form audit report, whether you are doing tax audit or not. You have to do the working as per the Banking Regulation Act. You have to do the test check, you have to do the checking of P&L account, checking of advances, everything as per the Banking Regulation Act. The tax audit comes under Income Tax Act. Now you are doing audit as per the Banking Regulation Act. And with this, if you got any doubt, you can ask me. And tomorrow around 4:30, I plan now. I'll send the link to you. Sir, is India's applicable to yes banks? Yes, sir, it is applicable. But if I take India's, that will be ocean. See, this year you have to be very, very careful, and that too, before certifying anything, you have to satisfy yourself and thinking that, sir, we have to save our certificate. God has to save the certificate, because that you have to see the LFAR. It's a very, very dangerous LFAR, and we have to work, because up to now we have not fully worked. We are not fully covered. We have taken a lot of qualified stand to save ourselves, but this time it is not possible. It is specific. And tomorrow around 4 or 4:30, I'll after finalizing the time, I'll send the message to you. And first, I'll send in Google form. Okay, Sanjay. I have to. Otherwise, the recording program will be there. You can take note of it. And tomorrow I am going to cover only the surplus issued by RBI. Waiting for tomorrow's session. Yeah, Amar, for RBI surplus and all downgraded and upgraded norms. Sanjay, it is up to you to decide. And okay, everything I'll Hitesh, definitely I'll send the link. First, I'll get all the your details. I'll get all mail ID. So in one stroke, I'll send all the my entire link of that program to you through mail. And also share the open link also. Anyone can come and join, no problem. And my request, you have to pass on this message to almost all your friends, because RBI circular is very, very important. Yeah, Uma Prasad. It's almost 1 hour 45 minutes. I'll stop the session and you go and take rest. Tomorrow we will see. I'm just winding up the sessions, friends. Thank you very much for the passion here.